Hi, welcome to another episode of Conflict, Mediation, and You. I'm Rick.
And I'm Robert.
And when we left you last, we were talking about the 4 conflict management secrets. In that previous episode, we did numbers 1 and 2.
Right.
Conflict management secret number 1.
And number 2.
And what is number 1? Can you remind them?
Conflict number 1. People only fight about things that they care about.
People only fight about things they care about. Number 2
is, let's see, number 2, that's a toughie.
No.
That you can
only... It hasn't been that long. Come on.
Well, it's been a while. There are only 2 things that you can control. Yourself and your attitude.
And your attitude. So we covered those in detail in that previous episode. This time we're going to talk about conflict management secret number 3 and 4.
Okay.
So, number 3.
Number 3. There's more than one way to fulfill a need.
Yep. There's always more than one way to meet a need. Now, this one is actually a little more complicated because what we're talking about, that conflict is usually fueled by some sort of need or a risk to a need. I feel some sort of threat. And what we're considering then is once we figure out what that need is, there's always more than one way to meet it. Now, why this becomes so helpful is most folks come to a conflict with one solution in mind, and they are locked onto that solution. I want a raise, I want an apology, I want that job, I want something. And they lock onto that one thing, and that will cause stalemate. A well-trained mediator with the technique for doing need exploration can literally go behind what that one thing is and find out what their real need is, because it's usually not that one thing. Once we figure out what the need is, we're no longer stuck with one option. I've got to have this, I've got to have that. There'll be multiple things that can be done to meet that need. Now, for example, we had talked about, there's a whole episode on the orange story.
Right, we did that earlier, yes. 2
kids, conflict, what do you do? And most people cut it in half thinking that it's a resource problem. But when we gave the orange to the kids, one peeled the outside, ate the inside, threw the peel away. The other child peeled the orange, threw the inside away, and used the peel for a science project. Had we known that their need was different, one child could have had the whole inside of the orange, the other child could have had the whole outside of the orange, had we been skilled enough to do need exploration. So they start out fighting, I want the orange, I want the orange. Mm-hmm. Once we engage conflict management secret number 3, there's always more than one way to meet a need.
Now, when we're in mediation, you said that the party comes to the mediation with a solution in mind. Mm-hmm. So what we have 2 parties, simple mediation. We have 2 parties,
yep.
So we have 2 solutions.
Right.
So we will have to get behind the needs of each party.
Each of them, right.
So that means that instead of just one possible solution, we might have 10 for one party.
Yes.
10 for the other party.
Yes.
And if we continue working that, we could have 20 plus.
Yes.
Which gives the parties more options than they came into the meeting with. And many times they walk away with an agreement or solution to their issue that's different.
Way different, yes.
Than what they walked in. They
hadn't thought of it.
Right.
Had no idea. And it's that creativity that we get by generating those multiple ways to meet a single need. I think that's really crucial. And in personal conflict, what I've had to do in my life now, when I'm in conflict, is to ask myself the question, what is it I really need here? So when I am engaged, it gives me a chance to focus on what's really, really important rather than slip into that, I want an apology or that single solution.
A quick solution.
Yeah. What is it that's really important to me? What is the threat I'm afraid of that's causing me to engage? And then we're back to secret number one again, right?
Okay.
So once I can figure out what my need is, and then I can do this on myself, well, I know there's multiple ways to meet that need, then I can even come to the party that I'm engaged with an open mind, with multiple options, which obviously would increase the chances of them saying yes to one of those options.
Now, how does this play out for the mediator? I mean, the mediator is sitting there, facilitating a process. Now, if the mediator hears what the issue is, and they lock into problem solving,
Oh,
that the mediator now has a solution.
right.
So then you have party one, party two, and the mediator.
We all have.
So now you have three possible solutions in the room.
Right.
Now, there's something that the parties need to be guided through a process to get behind what their need really is. So we know how to do that.
Yes.
Now we need to work on the mediator ourselves
Right.
around how we might be getting in the way with our possible solution.
Yes.
So the mediator needs to be very much aware of conflict secret number 3.
Yeah.
And in short, they need to let their solution go.
Right. I mean, the very fact that they've come up with a solution hints to their need to make everybody happy, their need to feel successful, their need to be good at this job and be recognized for it. I don't know specifically. We would have to do need exploration on that mediator. But that tendency to solve it for them automatically indicates some need.
Now, you've mentioned a couple of times need exploration. Where can folks out there, where can they find out about this need exploration thing? Is that something that we can work with them on?
Absolutely. We've been doing this for a long, long time. And our experience tells us that need exploration is a technique that is missing in most conflict management training across the board. Most conflict management training ends up talking about communication skills. So you'll hear things like, well, make I statements, do summarizing, make sure you reflect back. And those skills are good and handy, but if you're not careful, we end up using those communication skills just to do problem solving. Unless you have the ability to do need exploration, that will get you down to the real problem and then give you that access to multiple options. So yeah, we train all of our mediators and managers and leaders with this skill so that they are better equipped to manage whatever conflict comes their way. So yeah, definitely, if you want to learn this technique, call us. What's our number? 404-991-0072. Call us and check out when our next workshop is.
Okay, good.
It's time for a break. Nice transition to conflict management secret number 4. So
Okay.
let's go ahead and hear from our sponsors so that we don't have any conflicts with our people that are supporting us.
Let's do that.
All right.
10 years to learn the business. 10 years to make a name. 1 year on your own. It takes time to build a small business, but only 60 days to transform it with email marketing from Constant Contact. Sign up with Constant Contact and get 60 days of free email marketing to generate referrals, connect with clients, and build the business you've always wanted. Constant Contact. Start your 60-day free trial today.
What happens when soldiers come home? Brene Foundation offers hero support to ensure that our heroes abroad can continue to be heroes at home. We link veterans with organizations who are dedicated to guiding the transition from military hero to civilian hero If you want to find out how you can support our troops at home, please contact the Brene Foundation or visit Brene.com.
Okay, we're back, and we've been talking about conflict management secrets, and we're going to talk about the fourth secret. Now remember, secret number one, people only fight about things they care about. Conflict secret number two, you can only control two things, yourself and your attitude. Conflict secret number three, there's always more than one way to meet a need. Now that one might be a little more of a challenge to take in, but trust me, it does work, and when you understand it, you'll find that it works very, very well. Now, conflict secret number four. All resolutions are future oriented. All resolutions are future oriented. Now, what does that mean? That when I'm thinking about a solution to a problem, then there's a picture that I have in my head of what that looks like. And as long as I have that picture in my head, then that's going to drive me or pull me to a solution. Is that the way that you see the picture?
Am I in the conflict with you, or
Yeah.
we're just...
No. We're not going to be in conflict
Okay,
here.
all right. There's some photograph of loss that's motivating your decisions to engage, your decisions to demand something. That photograph is always about the future. So,
Let's see, let me try something.
go ahead.
Let's see how this will work, and then you can go into the details of all of this. But I need $500. Can you loan me $500?
No.
Why not? What came up for you when I asked that question?
Well, a couple of things. One is that if I give you $500, then I'm going to be short $500, and I need it to pay my bills. So my future would look bad, and I don't want that to happen, so I say no to you to protect. I don't want that future photograph of loss to become reality.
Okay, you go ahead and explain it. I'm going to go find $500 someplace else.
Somebody will give you $500. Let me know. I want to be right behind you.
Okay, go for it.
Well, what makes this really significant is if you're not careful, most conflict managers, they think they're doing a good job, and what they end up doing is investigating the past. They start digging into who said what, and even people who come to mediation, they tell their story, and the story is always about the past. They said this, they didn't say this, they did this, they shouldn't have done this, and they're telling us all the things that have happened in the past.
Right.
And if you're not careful, if you're not trained well, then spending all that time digging into the past, what really happened, what did you really say, did you mean to say that, what did you mean when you did that, that becomes almost a misdirection if you spend your time thinking about those things and digging into the past. The resolution to that conflict, to any conflict, is always going to be in the future. So we need to be spending time, and we train our leaders, our managers, our mediators, all of our folks to focus on the future. We teach them techniques to explore the future. And when I'm in a personal conflict, and if you think about the conflict you've recently had, what was it that you were afraid was going to happen if you didn't get what you were asking for? So, for example, a lot of times workplace, respect, dignity. That's what they're asking for. And if somebody says something or does something or doesn't do something, and I don't say something, I don't step in and demand an apology, then I'm going to look weak. I'm going to look bad. Other people will take advantage of me. All of those consequences are in the future. Every single one. I'm going to look bad. Other people are going to treat me. We need to be spending our time in the future, because that's where all resolutions reside.
Okay, so when you're saying that, I want to go back to, you said a picture of loss, or it could be a picture of gain too.
True.
Yeah.
True.
So if I see that there's a win in it for me, if you will, then that could affect the decision that I make.
Right.
But you're saying no to my $500. That was a picture of loss to you.
To me, yeah, I'm going to be
Yeah.
out. Now, as soon as I said no, did a photograph of loss pop up for you? Because you're not going to get $500.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I was counting on you giving me $500. So.
I let you down again, huh?
Well, not so much, but then other pictures came up of, okay, how else can I pursue this?
Other
So,
options
other
available
options.
to you.
So,
All right.
so we get these photos, these pictures, if you will,
Mhm.
that pop up for us very quickly. And many times we don't even think about it that way. We say or we do based on what has popped up.
Right. Even the people that tell us the story, they think the power of the resolution is in telling their story about the past really well. Right? I'm going to convince you that I was the victim or I was wronged so that you'll make this other person do something, or they'll feel guilty and do something. And really, that's not where it rests.
Yeah.
So even every conflict we've ever resolved, every one of those resolutions was about future behavior. So if we were going to, let's say we had a neighbor conflict, let's say we're neighbors and we have a conflict and you're mad because I drove over your, backing out of the driveway, I ran over your rose bushes. If we're going to resolve this, somewhere in there you're going to ask me to never do that again. Right?
Yes.
Okay. Or to replant your rose bushes.
Absolutely.
Right? See, now you're asking me to do something in the future. And if I agreed to that,
Then we're okay.
and it's about I agree to replant your roses. That's a future behavior. So the resolution is all about the future. I will not drive over your roses again in the future.
And in a mediation, if that were the issue, most of the time, if we are not facilitating the process, then the parties are going to stay with, you're an idiot for driving over my rose bushes.
Right, right.
And that's where all the time and the energy is going to be spent. So we need to get away from that. Okay, I heard you. I'm an idiot for driving over your rose bushes. So where do we go from there? How do we correct this? How do we move forward?
Let's talk
Yeah.
about the future.
Yeah.
And a skilled mediator is going to be able to do that in just about any context whatsoever, to be able to explore those futures. And part of the reason to meet privately with a party as the mediator is to lay out that picture, mainly of loss.
To help them to see it.
To help them to see it.
Yeah.
Because it's unlikely that if I try and figure out what you're afraid of losing in front of the other person, you're not going to tell me. No.
No.
So that's one of the reasons we meet privately. That's for that caucus. We've talked about those private meetings that can be confidential. A good mediator gets to explore those things with you and kind of open up what that picture looks like. And that really tells you what you're genuinely fighting for.
Okay. So, and I'm just thinking back to a previous segment that we did. We were talking about hiring a mediator. And one of the things that just popped up for me is that when you're in that process of interviewing the mediator, you might want to listen to how they're talking.
Yes.
Are they talking? Is their conversation in the past, or are they more future oriented?
Right. Very good point. There's certain things you want to look for because you want to make sure that you pick a mediator that will specifically meet your needs and what you're looking for.
Yeah, and you need to be clear as you can be on what it is that you're after, what your needs are,
Yep.
and move forward with that. And I'm sensing that we're running low on gas, and it's probably time to park the car and move on to the next task at hand. So,
Very good. As usual, it's a pleasure.
my pleasure.